has introduced Match of the Day Special.
Good evening. The winners of today's fifth round FA Cup ties are just 2 wins away from the final on May the 9th. We've got all the goals for you. We're concentrating on 3 matches. At Stamford Bridge, only 7,000 turned up in midweek for the league game, but over 34,000 were there today for Chelsea against Sheffield United in the Cup. Ian Porterfield had taken the London club to their first fifth round tie for 10 years. Porterfield was, of course, Sunderland's Cup hero back in the 70s. And at Roker Park today, 25,000 were present as the second division side took on West Ham. Sunderland's Malcolm Crosby was manager of the month, his first month as caretaker manager. At the City Ground, the crowd was nearly 25,000 today for Nottingham Forest against Bristol City. Mr. Clough had taken Forest to 2 semi-finals and the final in the last 4 years. Well, Trevor Brooking is with us this evening. It's been difficult to get his mind off the luge doubles at the Winter Olympics, but he is prepared apparently to discuss the football. And then later we'll have today's highlights from the games. The men's figure skating, which could be an east-west battle for the gold between Victor Petrenko and Kurt Browning. There's the story of the British bobslayers leading the way at the halfway mark. And how the women's downhill was won. Well, all that comes later. First, it's the Cup. Who would be over the moon tonight? Well, there are only 2 all First Division ties in this fifth round, and this is one of them. Chelsea against Sheffield United. Dave Bassett's team with 6 wins and a draw from their last 7 matches after another dreadful start to the season. Commentary from John Motson.
1 or 2 of those venerable Chelsea pensioners, regular guests of the club here at Stamford Bridge, can just remember these 2 clubs meeting in the FA Cup final itself, just as World War I broke out 77 years ago. Sheffield United beat Chelsea 3-0 at Old Trafford that day in what was called the khaki final. But today the colours are red and yellow as the Sheffield United fans, around 7,000 of them, bring great flavour to the afternoon. The team news shows that Chelsea have got Gareth Hall back at number 2 and Vinnie Jones playing against one of the old clubs at number 4. They've both had flu. Elliott, number 5, has shaken off a knee injury. Number 6, Cundy, is back from suspension. But it's suspension that rules out Dennis Wise, and with Kerry Dixon just fit enough to be sub, Tony Cascarino at number 9 plays his 3rd game since signing from Celtic. Well, Sheffield United's manager Dave Bassett had a problem when goalkeeper Simon Tracy pulled out with a throat infection, so 29-year-old Phil Kite comes in after being hurriedly recalled from a loan period at Mansfield. Number 2, Kevin Gage, finalised his transfer this weekend from Aston Villa for £150,000 after being on loan, and at number 7, Carl Bradshaw gets the vote over Glyn Hodges, who drops to substitute. And Sheffield United, red and white stripes, white shorts, and already Chelsea, Vinnie Jones flying into the first tackle against his old club, and he's going to get booked in the opening seconds. What a start here. Jones, who was at Bramall Lane for a year, and straight from the kickoff he went scything, and it's a yellow card. Surely the quickest booking of the season for Vinnie Jones. And the first free kick to United, taken by Gannon. Number 7 on the left for Chelsea is Lasso. Well, goodness gracious me, what is going on here? Kevin Gage trying to separate them. John Gannon came hurtling in, and now he's in trouble. This is the explosive start a few people feared with the connections here. Jones started it, Gannon then went almost as wild and gets the yellow card as well. And if that's going to be the way of it, there'll be one or two who won't be on the pitch at the end. This is Brian Dean. And that was a late challenge by Jason Cundy. Well, one has the feeling the referee is going to be in for a testing afternoon here at Stamford Bridge. Gannon takes the free kick. Elliott for Chelsea. That was Lake's challenge on Stewart, and then Cascarino late. Lake, Dean and Gale lined up on the far side for Sheffield United. Barnes to take the kick. Here comes Hitchcock. Bryson, and Bryson cuts it back across and away by Elliott from Dean. And now there's some scuffling over retrieving the ball. Look at this. Jones is involved again. This time it's number 7, Bradshaw, who's pushing. The argument was all about sending the ball back for the corner. This is mayhem. And the referee will have to speak to the two captains. Keith Burge has had no help from the players at all in the first 5 minutes here. It's disgraceful, really. Gale on the near post. Up goes Gale. Clive Allen hooks it clear. David Barnes. What an extraordinary opening period. That was Hall. Townsend, Allen. Townsend looks for Lasso. That's Gage. Gale comes across. Now Jones with the throw. Short to Myers. Stewart's in there. Elliott's up as well. Cascarino over his head. Elliott. Wide again, Lasso. It's got support from Myers. Header out was by Barnes. Andy Townsend, Chelsea captain, who along with Brian Gale was called across by the referee after that last incident and told to calm his players down. Rising shot by Townsend. This is Townsend, Jones. And the same two players again. This time Jones finds Lasso. Cascarino makes his way to the far post. That's Townsend's volley! And the Chelsea captain very close to the opening goal here. Good play by Chelsea. Graham Lasso with a good deep cross. And Townsend met that with a swivel shot. showing all the acrobatics of a continental forward. Lake. Well, Lake was tackled by Jones and then collided with the referee. Here he is again. That's Lasseau back there for Chelsea. Looks for Cascarino. Headed down to Allen. Townsend. Graham Stewart on this flank, and here's Gareth Hall. Inside it goes to Jones. Townsend. Allen's in there. Little touch for Cascarino. Good football by Chelsea. Allen shoots. What a good build-up. 5 neat, precise passes. Keeper was in the right place to field Allen's shot. Comfortable for Phil Kite, that. Myers to Allen. Townsend. Stewart. And it's Graham Stewart with a great run for Chelsea! And he scores! "21-year-old Graham Stewart sends the Chelsea fans into jubilation after 25 minutes of this cup tie, and they've got the goal they deserve. And how well this lad made it. He cut inside 2 opponents and slid it underneath the keeper. A brilliant individual effort by a lad who was trained at the FA school at Lilleshall, and the way he took that goal, somebody's taught him something good. It was so cool. It's forward by Jones. Chelsea continue to make more of the headway in this first half. Sheffield United haven't found their rhythm yet. Cascarino. On by Stewart. Here's Allen. Brian Gale's challenge is deemed to be a corner. Lasseau will take it. Allen goes into the 6-yard box. Jones onto the goal line. And Cascarino, an obvious threat here, as is Elliott. Allen was there. Oh, near post save by Kite. When Clive Allen hangs back like that, away from the other players, it's a goal scorer's instinct, this really. He knows where the position is, where he gets the best chance. Pulling out and bringing a save from Kite. Corner again. And Kite not sure. Elliott's in there, and that's gone wide. I think the keeper must have felt impeded there. There was such a crowd of players on the line, he couldn't get a proper contact on the ball. And the referee spots that Sheffield United are about to make a substitution. Ian Bryson was injured early in the game. He hasn't shaken it off, and Glyn Hodges takes his place. Here's Jones. Oh, he let that go! From what, 30 yards? This man is such a mixture. Hot-headed 1 minute, always influential, but possessing a little more skill, perhaps more than a little more, than many people give him credit for. A good passer of the ball, and a good striker of shots too. Look at that. And referee Keith Birds blows the half-time whistle. 21-year-old Graham Stewart had an injury-interrupted season. He's had to wait a long time for his first goal, but when it came this afternoon, what a beautifully taken, self-made effort it was. And it gives Chelsea the lead at half-time over a Sheffield United team who up to now have been disappointing. Well, in the second half, are we going to see more of the form that has put Chelsea in a good position, or will we see a semblance of the recent football from Sheffield United that has earned them 6 wins in their last 7 games? Cascarino to Lasseau. It's Lake's header. Bradshaw. Oh, well played by Myers. This lad looks to have considerable talent. He, like Stewart, was at the FA school. And at the age of 18, he's very confident on the ball in top company. Finished up there, getting quite a bad knock from the tackle by Kevin Gage. But that won't find Lasseau. 10 minutes gone in the second half. And there's going to be a substitution. Vinnie Jones is going off, hobbling a bit. And he gets a hero's reception from the Chelsea fans in the main stand. And Kevin Wilson is the player coming on, a forward player, so Chelsea will have to adjust somewhat here. Wilson starts off anyway in Jones' midfield slot. Hodges. Oh, and here comes Dean, and Chelsea for the first time left a gap in the middle of the defence. It was little Andy Myers who covered it, but there was space there for Sheffield United to exploit, and very nearly. Glyn Hodges so good at delivering those swerving balls. Dean was close there. Myers away. Corner. Gale tries to get in. Oh, and a good block, and that's Gage. Side netting. Just a minute or two there when Chelsea looked unsettled. Certainly the play that led up to the corner wasn't very tidy from their point of view. And neither, in a way, was this. It was a hooked clearance by Elliott that gave Whitehouse his chance, and then it was Kevin Gage, the wrong side of the post. Just wonder whether Vinnie Jones' departure will change the... You can see the strapping. Whether it will change the nature of the game in midfield. Perhaps Chelsea will be rather less aggressive without him. Myers, slice clearance. Kevin Wilson needs to win it against Gannon, he didn't, so Dean found Whitehouse. 3 in the centre here for Sheffield United. Came to Bradshaw, then to Gage. Blocked by Lasseau, still Gage. Bradshaw's cross, Cundy. Allen, again a good touch by Clive Allen. Some of his play today in the centre of the field has belied what people say about him. This is Lasseau, here's Myers, Cascarino tearing in, and so is Stewart, and there's Cascarino and Allen! The flag's up, the flag is up. So it wouldn't have mattered. Here's Bradshaw. Oh, and Dean and Whitehouse, and Dean. And nearly Hill. And Chelsea's biggest enemy at the moment is themselves. They lost their bearings in defence when the marking should have been a great deal tighter. Wilson dropped nicely there for the substitute. This is Lasseau. Still Lasseau. Oh, he's hit the bar. Cracking effort. Graham Lasseau, the Channel Islander, doing very nearly what Stewart from the other flank did in the first half. He comes inside, hits it with his left foot, clears the keeper, but not quite the crossbar. Corner to Chelsea. Lasseau will take it himself. Wilson in the 6-yard box. Elliott is up from the back. There's Elliott. Falls for Dean. That was Hill's cross, in fact, and Hall can clear for Chelsea. And away in the end by Lasseau. Here's Beasley, got his feet mixed up there, and Allen. What an intelligent ball by Clive Allen. And it comes out to Graham Stewart. Chelsea have got 4 others up. Cascarino! Well, he seemed to have got the better of Gale. He seemed to have got on the blind side of the defender there, Tony Cascarino, but he couldn't finish. It was a sweet move again by Chelsea. Here's Graham Stewart in the role of provider now. Beautiful cross, bent away from the keeper. Well, Gale did enough, didn't he, to put him off. Cascarino scored on his debut against Crystal Palace last week. Couldn't quite register his second goal for Chelsea then. This is Jason Cundy. That's the best of passes out of defence, I have to say. That's Barnes out to Hodges, and Sheffield United with 5 players up here. Dean hit the bar and away by Elliott. What a warning there for Chelsea. The nearest United have come to a goal. And the crossbar that denied Lasso a moment ago now does the same to Brian Dean. And that long ball will go through to a very relieved Kevin Hitchcock. Well, Dean there so close to pulling Sheffield United right back in it. A good header, wasn't it? Super header. Keeper had no chance. But Ian Porterfield will remember that against Everton in the last round, Chelsea had an anxious last few minutes, and it's beginning to look like that again. And Chelsea's biggest crowd of the season, 34,447, signal that their club, thanks to Graham Stewart's goal, have reached the 6th round of the FA Cup for the first time in 10 years. Disappointed Sheffield United, but disappointing in the way they played. Didn't live up to their reputation of recent matches. And Chelsea, who haven't won the FA Cup for 22 years, now find themselves in the last 8. Thanks to Stewart's goal in the first half and some effective defending in the second when both teams hit the bar. So Chelsea continue to fly the flag for London, and Sheffield United go home empty-handed.
I don't want to spoil your day, but the first 2 or 3 minutes was very aggressive, Ian. Have you got any thoughts on the way the game started?
Well, I mean, I think Vinny, let everyone know how important the game was for Chelsea Football Club. And, it set the tempo of the game.
Hey, you've scored the winning goal in a cup final, and they're saying here it's 22 years since Chelsea won it. Have you got that Wembley feeling in your bones?
Well, I mean, it would be nice, but we're not thinking about that really at this moment in time. We'll just wait until the next game comes around and prepare properly for it. And just hope that this can stimulate our league programme and hopefully climb from 7th position a little bit higher.
And you've got that lucky mascot called Bob Stokoe hanging around all the time.
Yeah, well, Bob's retired now, and of course he does a little bit of scouting for us. So he's come in all the games, and he's been a good omen, so I'm sure he'll be there at the next game as well.
Yeah. Vinnie Jones' booking was timed at 2.5 seconds, which beats his own record. He'd had the fastest before that at 5 seconds when he played for Sheffield United. But it was a bad-tempered start, wasn't it?
Well, it was a game that was never going to be for the faint-hearted, quite honestly. But the first 2 or 3 minutes, I think, from both sides' point of view, are best forgotten, because here you are at the kick-off, and Dane Whitehouse decides to go for route 1, and Tony Cascarino, as well as Vinnie Jones, go for it, and right in front of the referee. And I think Keith Bird just decided, to clamp down on it early. But here, John Gannon, still in the first minute, this is, unless Clive Allen had jumped high there, I hate to think of what happened, and that was definitely at the minimum a booking. Then again, after just 2 minutes, you see Vinnie Jones knows it's a corner to Sheffield United, just brushes Dane Whitehouse, and they're having a little scuffle there. I think if it had been left to those two, it would have got sorted out, but Carl Bradshaw comes from nowhere here. Look, gives a left-hander there and then puts his forward in. I mean, he's a very lucky lad not to
get sent off.
Well, I mean, I think if the referee and linesman would have seen what we saw there, he would have had to have gone, and that's purely out of retaliation, and he was nothing to do with the first incident. Why get involved?
Yeah. After that, it did settle down, and the game wasn't a bad game to watch, I think, and a good goal.
Well, I mean, the goal was a little jewel and such, and great for Graham Stewart, because perhaps he wouldn't have played, if Dennis White hadn't been suspended. Here, Clive Allen, lovely little touchdown to Andy Townsend on his right foot. He'll be pleased with that. And it's his first touch here, Graham Stewart. Dane Whitehouse just lets him get down the line, which is fatal, really, because once you let your forward attack the defender and David Barnes lets him come inside, He's now concentrating on keeping it down and through the poor old keeper's legs. I mean, how often that happens. But if you keep it down, the chances are, unless it does strike the foot, it's going to go in the net, and that's just what Graham Stewart did. A very good goal for the young lad.
Chelsea on a bit of a roll in the Cup.
That's right. You know, missed penalty for Everton, the one off the underside of the crossbar. They're beginning to feel it is their season, I think.
Thanks, Trev. Well, in the northeast, while Kevin Keegan's return to Newcastle has been making all the headlines, Sunderland fans have been getting a whiff of cup fever under a caretaker manager, Malcolm Crosby. Their opponents today, West Ham, who've more or less stumbled into this fifth round. Commentator at Roker Park is Tony Gubba.
Malcolm Crosby may still only be in a caretaker role at Sunderland, but he's a quickest ever winner of Manager of the Month, thanks to victories in the first 4 matches after he took over in January. And with Sunderland, now Britain's newest city, there's lots to smile about on the Roker Park terracing. Well, this isn't quite the team that Malcolm inherited from the departing manager. He's brought back Paul Hardiman, converting him from left-back into midfield, and young Brian Atkinson is also restored to the first team. He wears number 11. But it is one of Dennis Smith's last signings, whose goals have taken Sunderland into the fifth round for the first time in 16 years. Former ERA international John Byrne has scored 5 times in the last 7 matches, including 1 in each round of the Cup. Well, West Ham are sorely depleted by injuries. Frank McAvenny is the latest of them. Tony Parks continues in goal for Miklosko. Martin Allen returns wearing number 10. It's his first game since December. And number 6, Ray Atterveld, is in the side. He starts a month's loan from Everton. Referee Bob Nixon from the Wirral starts this fifth round cup tie, in which it will be difficult for either side to get a grip of the ball, because there's an absolute gale blowing right down the length of Roker Park and right into the face of Tony Parks in this first half. It'll be interesting to see just how far he can get this ball. These two teams have both won the FA Cup previously as second division sides. West Ham's form in reaching this fifth round has been, well, a little bit less than impressive. Davenport. Byrne. Hardiman's made a run through. Kay sprints up from the right-back position and gets in a great ball. Well, it was delivered very early, and it was a good ball also from John Kay, a local-born player. He saw there was a little bit of space in that penalty area, just chipped over the top, and Hardiman was just a yard behind it. Slater got away from ball. He's on his own. Good stop, Norman. That's the first save. With something like 32 minutes played. Slater now waits for the corner. Taken by Dix. Oh, it hit too long. Keane. Final effort from Kevin Keane was always going well wide, but it was a nice bit of skill and control by Stuart Slater. But as he took that ball into the penalty area, you can see there's no support arriving at all. 3 minutes to go to half-time. And wouldn't we dearly love a goal? Foster. Only to Rogan. It's just kicked from one defence to the next and back again. Now Davenport, and he's turned. And he's threaded it through for Hardiman. Dix, who got in the block, and it was a good block as well from Julian Dix. Hardiman was beautifully found then by Davenport. It was a good chance. And that's brought a corner. Well, Byrne's gone right over there. Surely he wants to be in the penalty area. Now he's coming back now. That's the place to be when you're the top scorer in the last few matches. Oh, that's hanging awkwardly. Parks has got it safely. Well, the referee had a very good view, and he's given a push on the keeper, but he caught it very well. Small got a little back header. That's Slater, who didn't find Brown. Armstrong to Kay. This is adventurous by Sunderland, and they've lost possession there. It might have been embarrassing, but they didn't. Nicely laid in by Armstrong. Forward to Davenport, whose first touch was good. Hardiman! Oh, Pearce again did well to come out and smother. Got a little knock for his trouble, but he's done well since he replaced the injured Miklosko, Tony Pearce. In fact, I don't think in the current run that he's enjoying, he's conceded a goal. And he didn't give any shadow of a doubt about a foul. He just got down and made the ball his. And there goes the whistle to end what has frankly been a disappointing first half. Neither side able to cope with these very tricky conditions, and we haven't had a goal to enjoy. But there's always lots of enthusiasm at Roker Park, and we can look forward to a better second half. It's Sunderland 0, West Ham 0. A warm drink is what's required, and that one being enjoyed by James Herriot. In truth, Alf Wright, a 75-year-old veterinary surgeon who wrote the James Herriot books and who's the honorary life president here at Sunderland. So Sunderland start this second half, now attacking the goal to the left. Neither side has made a substitution at half-time. And it will be interesting to see how each team now copes with the quite different conditions that they'll have to deal with from those that they experienced in the first half. Davenport, marked by Foster. And he got in a good left-foot cross. But it was always a little bit too close to Tony Pearce. But if anybody can prise things open, you get the feeling Davenport might. Now Pearce enjoying the opportunity to get in long kicks of his own. Rogan needed to... there just wasn't the right sort of understanding again between the defenders and the keeper. I mean, if Rogan expected the keeper to come and claim that, he was certainly thinking in a different direction to Tony Norman. Keeper was never really going to get there. The big number 5 for West Ham, just around the penalty spot. Keane, it's in. Allen, Martin Allen, I think. He's claiming it, Martin Allen, but the players have run off to congratulate Mike Small. But there might be a bit of a debate there about who had the final touch. There's no doubt that it was knocked in by Kevin Keane, and there were 2 on the goal line poaching. Oh, maybe the camera will tell us who got the last touch. Yes, you'd have to give it to Small, although as he ran away, Martin Allen was trying to claim that it was his in the penalty area, and the rest of the West Ham players ignored him. So Mike Small's 16th of the season, and that goal has come right at the ideal point, really. What a season he's having, Julian Dix. And still only 23. How nice it is to see that he's recovered after that long layoff through injury and can still look forward to a good career. Oh, he did well to let it run there, Slater. Keane, breakers well forward. Rogan's tattle only to Slater, who was then unceremoniously upended by Kevin Ball. In fact, Mr. Nixon, I think, has seen enough of those man-sized tackles from Kevin Ball, who's cautioned, and that could well mean another suspension looming for Kevin Ball. He's already been suspended twice this season, and that will take his points tally over 21. Don't think he can complain too much about it. He was at least a yard behind the ball. And West Ham's free kick, which it looks as though Julian Dix will take, trying to chip it over the wall. Breaker got away from him. Dix dispossessed by young Atkinson. Over the top for Armstrong. For Byrne, he's gone out wide. And the block was by Foster. And it's Keane who brings it away. And this game now beginning to open up. Oh, look at the space here for Martin Allen. And that's not a bad ball over the top for Slater to chase. He's got Small in the middle. And Bennett got a foot on it. Dix. Allen. Atterveld. Dix again. Fine ball to pick out Ken Brown. Oh, it needed watching all the way, didn't it? It swerved and it bent. He never really got a good side of goal, but he forced Tony Norman to stay very aware. To Slater. He spotted Keane in space, and Dix has gone on the outside. This is Dix. Oh, it's a good run forward by Julian Dix. And he's appealing for a corner. But in a season when so many of your players are injured, and you really are down to the last 11 fit men almost, it must be a real thrill for Billy Bonds and the West Ham supporters to see how well Julian Dix is playing. Keane to run at them, goes through them. Rogan for Davenport. We'll get to this. Potts has closed him down. There's nobody to look for in the box. Burns arrived. Oh, it's still in play, and it's in. It's a goal. John Byrne. And having said how well Julian Dix was playing, I think he may be guilty of a very unfortunate rebound just before that went in. That was a terrific break by Sunderland. Now, Byrne gets in here. The header hits Julian Dix, who then loses it. Byrne kept his cool. Tony Parks committed himself, and he just pushed it over the line. Atkinson did very well. Rogan came inside small. Slater. That was a trip. Free kick. Hit by Atterveld. It was a splendid one-handed save from Tony Norman, but I'm not absolutely certain it would have gone in. From this angle anyway, it looks as if it might have been going just wide of the post, but he had to be certain. That went straight behind. What a fabulous strike that was by Ray Atterveld from the free kick. Well, it looked as though it would have gone in, didn't it? Kotsu finally clears to Slater. Allen. Slater with a little bit of space to pick up speed and run at Rogan. He's got past him. Bennett's come out of the centre of defence. Well, that was good covering. He might have pulled something there. Gary Bennett, as he stretched to get a foot on that, he's gone straight down. Bennett back on his feet, but he's certainly stretching very gingerly. And Rogan's central partner now is Kevin Ball. And Bennett's just wandering about. Throw to Sunderland, and there will now be a change. Colin Pascoe, who comes on. He's naturally a midfield player. And Bennett has gone off. Flick on by Armstrong. Byrne. Oh, it's a great effort from Byrne. Well, that was a player full of confidence and with his shooting boots on. And even Colin Foster, I think, was in admiration of that. Dix. Oh, he does get forward well, doesn't he? Laid out to Slater, but it's covered by Kay. Goes behind for a goal kick. Well, what a fine bit of skill that was to enjoy from John Byrne. He'd had one touch already and then hit it left foot on the drop, and it forced quite a good save from Tony Parks. Davenport flick on. Byrne, here he is, he's in the right position. Great stop, Parks. They're appealing a great stop by Pearce, and that's kept West Ham in the cup. You'd have put your money on Byrne. Little back flick here from Peter Davenport. It's absolutely perfect. Look at the sight he's got of the target. It goes a little bit wide, maybe. Pearce went the right way, and that's a fine stop. And it's still 1-1. And the whistle goes, yes. Well, the second half was exactly what the first half wasn't. Mike Small giving West Ham the lead after 49 minutes. And then John Byrne equalising after 65. And Byrne's so close to getting Sunderland the winner, but for a fine stop from this man, Tony Parkes. It's 16 years since Sunderland got as far as the sixth round of the FA Cup. They haven't done it yet, although technically I suppose they have, because their name will be in the hat when the draw for the sixth round is made tomorrow. So too will West Ham, and they'll need a replay to sort it out. Well, Billy Bonds and Malcolm Crosby, 1-1, a result that satisfies both managers, I suppose, but Sunderland might feel they had the more chances to have won it.
Well, we had a good chance near the end with John Byrne, but fair play, the goalkeeper, he made a very good save. And I think a fair result was a draw.
Not a good afternoon for football, though. The wind was terrible, and both sets of players had real difficulty bringing the ball down and getting it under control, didn't they?
Yes, the conditions were bad, and you know, fair play to both teams. They did try and get the ball down and play, but it was never going to be easy.
Billy?
Yeah, we didn't come up here for a classic. We knew it wouldn't be, you know. I mean, you come up here and it's normally very windy and a bit blowy like this, and it was difficult today. But I thought overall it was a typical cup tie. It was a bit arum-scarum at times. Very few chances, probably a couple of chances each, and I think it was about a fair result at the end of the day.
West Ham are hanging on in there in this season's FA Cup, aren't they?
Yeah, we're battling. We like you say, we didn't play particularly well today. We haven't been playing that great this season, but. Give my lads a lot of credit. They've been battling. They've had to go at some difficult places. Wrexham was never going to be easy, but they keep battling. They keep working at it, and you'll always have a chance when they're doing it.
Bad weather for the hairstyles. What do you think? Replays all the way to Wembley then for West Ham?
Well, I don't think they'll complain if that's the case. But I mean, both lads were right there. I mean, the wind was awful. I used to hate playing in those sort of conditions, and it makes it a bit of a lottery. And I think in the end, it's fair enough that it goes to a replay, because it'd been a shame for a side in the fifth round to go out in a sort of conditions such as that.
John Byrne looked sharp.
Well, I mean, John Byrne's got a lot of individual skill, hasn't he? And I thought Peter Davenport alongside him played quite well. You know, they linked up, and some of the better touches came from those. But I mean, he's got very good individual skill, can beat players. I mean, the best bit of action probably the touch over the top very late on, and the left-footed shot, wasn't it? But he'd be a bit disappointed with the late chance. But I think Tony Parkes did very well. A bit like, as we said earlier with the Chelsea goal, sometimes the keepers, they can block it half with their legs and the body. Sometimes it goes between the legs. On that occasion, he stood up well and blocked it.
It was fairly bizarre, wasn't it, really?
Well, that's right. I think, you know, in the end, there were a few chances throughout the game, and probably, you know, the fact that John Byrne's equaliser in the end had that little element of luck, didn't it? You know, the fact that the wind took it away. As you see, Peter Davenport gets in a great cross from the left, and it clears the West Ham defence, and at this stage it looks a comfortable far post header into the net, but it drifts away from him, and he would have headed it back across the goal. Comes off Julian Dick's hands. He doesn't know where it is. Johnny Byrne thinks, come on, get down, and Tony Parkes then just misses, and it bobbles softly into the net. I mean, sometimes, you know, you hit some screaming shots, and on another day the bobblers go in, and it's a vital replay, and who knows what's going to happen at Upton Park.
This Brighton supporter has noted where both the goal scorers in that match used to play last season.
It must be hurting seeing them at the bottom of the second.
Bottom of the second, yeah. Right, another first v second division tie now. Nottingham Forest against Bristol City. Forest have made 2 semi-finals and the final in the last 4 seasons. Bristol City, despite a lowly position in Division 2, had beaten both Wimbledon and Leicester away to get this far. Graham Lloyd from the City ground.
Last Saturday, Bristol City became the first victims of Keegan mania when they were swept aside by an inspired Newcastle. This afternoon they come up against an even more charismatic personality in the shape of Brian Clough, who despite 27 very successful years in football management is still trying to win the most glamorous prize of them all, the FA Cup. Forest keep the same side which drew 1-1 against Spurs in the semi-final of the Rumbelows Cup here last Sunday. Stuart Pearce, having rested his injured knee in midweek, is fit to resume his captain's role at left-back. This is Forest's 3rd cup tie in less than a week. There are 3 changes in the Bristol City side following the Newcastle nightmare. Manager Jimmy Lumsden recalling Gary Shelton and Mark Hazelwood in midfield after injury and suspension. This is City's 3rd successive away game in the competition. They'll be looking to their Polish international Dariusz Jakanowski, the match winner at Leicester in the last round, to spring a surprise or two this afternoon. The referee for this afternoon's match, Neil Midgley from Kersley in Bolton, and we are underway. Forest in their traditional red and white, which means a change of strip this afternoon for Bristol City. They're wearing a nice shade of green. Both these sides struggling in the league this season. Forest 15th in the first, and Bristol City 18th in the second. This is Black. Hazelwood. Andy Leaning. His place was under threat after that 3-0 defeat at Newcastle, but he's still in goal. Wassell winning out over Allison. Headed forward by Hazelwood and Pearce. Jakanowski trying to find Bent. He's past Pearce, but the ball just out of play. A corner to Bristol. Junior Bent anxious to get on with things. As Bristol on the attack in only the 2nd minute, headed clear by Wassell. But Bent with another chance to cross. Looking long, Crossley unable to gather, and Pearce with the clearance. Edwards and Crosby chasing that ball. Sheringham. Laws and Keane. Crosby up against Scott. No room for the cross, or is there? Wins himself a corner. No goal kick. Sheringham to Clough. Lovely turn there by Clough, through to Keane. There it is, the first goal, hits a post, oh, and in off Llewellyn. Well, what an unlucky goal for poor old Andy Llewellyn. It must go down as an own goal, although Keane will want to claim it. It was the ball from Clough through to Keane, through the goalkeeper, against the post, and Andy Llewellyn, he could do nothing about it. 1-0 to Forest. This is Edwards. Poor pass. Bent had come inside. Clough to Pearce and Llewellyn. Junior Bent, he's past Clough. What about the cross? Allison! Oh, nice move by Bristol. Junior Bent at the heart of most moves this afternoon. It's a very loose ball cut out by Osman. Scott. And Hazelwood wins the throw. Nottingham Forest 1 match away from Wembley in 2 other competitions. In the Rumbelows Cup, they've drawn 1-1 with Spurs, and in the ZDS Cup, they've drawn 1-1 with Leicester. But the FA Cup is the big one. Keane across to Clough. Sheringham and Osman. Sheringham winning out. Black. Headed clear by Shelton. Clough! Oh, he's hit the post! What a tremendous shot by Nigel Clough. He hasn't scored for 4 games. He nearly did then. The ball scrambled away for a corner to be taken by Kingsley Black. There's Pearce and Leaning. Nicely taken. Nigel Clough played at left back in midweek. Allison. And there it is, the half-time whistle. 1-0 the score. The goal, an own goal by this man, Andy Llewellyn, in the 5th minute. Brian Clough will be happy. He's still on course to win the FA Cup for the first time, and his son has been at the heart of most Forest attacks. They've dominated this first half, Nottingham Forest, but the score here at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest 1, Bristol City 0. So the second half underway, 1-0 the score to Nottingham Forest. It could have been 1 or 2 more. Nigel Clough hitting the post. Forest so quick to the loose ball. Crosby. Gemmell taken down by Shelton, and that looks like the second booking of the afternoon. Gary Shelton, Nottingham boy. His father is in the crowd this afternoon, coming back as captain of this Bristol City side, and unfortunately going into the book. The Bristol City wall is in position. Here comes Pearce, and Sheringham almost got it through, and Clough does. 2-0 to Forest. A rather scrappy goal. 3 minutes into the second half, and Forest have got the second goal. The free kick from Pearce past the wall. Sheringham cleared off the line, but Clough following through. 2-0 to Forest. The Bristol crowd starting to get behind their team, and they certainly need that support. Allison through to Edwards. He's got Bent outside him. Good effort by Edwards, and Crossley couldn't hold it. For the first time this afternoon, the Forest defence opened up. Edwards took advantage, and the save by Crossley, bearing in mind he's had hardly anything to do all afternoon, was excellent. Pearce and Hazelwood. Crosby. There goes Sheringham on a run. Sheringham, and great save by Leaning. The move began with Gary Crosby inside to Sheringham, took it well, and the save by Leaning just with his fingertips. Llewellyn to Jakanowski, and Hazelwood. Bristol City desperately searching for a way through this Forest defence. Almost there, but Walker spotted it. They certainly haven't disgraced themselves this afternoon, Bristol City. Any side would have found it hard to live with Forest in this sort of form. It's to their credit they've kept the score down. Sheringham to Gemmell. And Pearce joining the attack. Taking it on to Clough. And there goes Pearce. Where's his right foot? There it is. And there's the third goal. Stuart Pearce makes it Forest 3, Bristol City 0. And again, who was involved? Nigel Clough. A lovely little chip. second touch, fast leaning, 3-0 to Forest. Nigel Clough again with that lovely little ball. Pearce's left foot controlled it and the right put it in. Edwards inside to Jakanowski. Jakanowski up against Gemmell. Edwards to Shelton. To Edwards. Jakanowski! Crossley with a fine save at the near post. Junior bent with the corner, the first of the second half for Bristol City. Osman! Jakanowski! Allison! Jakanowski! Yes! It's third goal for Bristol City, and how they deserve it. They've been up against it all afternoon. Bent took the corner. The Forest defending wasn't up to the usual high standard. Crossley had it, he lost it. Allison couldn't. Jakanowski could. 3-1. Forest's speed of thought and action revolving around Clough has taken them to a 3-1 lead with just over 10 minutes left. Made the first, scored the second, and made the third, Nigel Clough. Pearce. Too long for Sheringham and Black, and Bryant with the clearance. Gemmell, nicely inside to Wassell. Laws. Brian Laws, is this number 4? He's brought down by Allison, a penalty. Wayne Allison. Brian Laws was through, no doubt about the challenge. So Teddy Sheringham there it is. 4-1 to Forest. Goal number 18 for Teddy Sheringham. £2 million he cost. Nicely hit penalty. Leaning went the wrong way. We're now into injury time here at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 4-1 in the lead. Pearce. Osman out of position, and there's the gap opening up for Glover and Keane. Still Glover. Shelton trying to send Allison away. It's too long for him though. The final whistle, a spirited Bristol City performance, but in the end they were completely outclassed by Nottingham Forest. A goal for Stuart Pearce, one of 3 in the second half. Brian Clough's dream of Wembley lives on. A goal by Jakanowski made the final score. Nottingham Forest 4, Bristol City 1.
You could go to Wembley 3 times at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of people have been telling me that. I like to look back in sort of May or June, you know, and say we were there 3 times, but it's a long way to go yet, and we're quite aware of that.
The Forest crowd here are always chanting your name. Do you feel responsibility sometimes?
Yeah, because I'm the one who pays them to do so. No, they've got a lot of respect for me, and likewise I've got a lot of respect for them here. So they help you, you know, they help me immensely. You know, when you've got a whole crowd behind you, a whole stadium, especially at home, it's brilliant.
It must lift you, and was that something to do with your goal?
Yeah, as I say, they're shouting and hollering like, as luck happens, I managed to sneak one today, you know, with my right foot as well, so I was well happy.
And Wembley on Wednesday for you, perhaps?
I'd like to be up for selection anyway. I hope I'm in the starting lineup, all being well. You never know.
That's against France, of course. Ray Stubbs putting the questions there. Bristol City looked sharp when we last saw them in the Cup, but they were out of their depth, weren't they, today? In that
yeah, I mean, they tried hard, but that was Nottingham Forest at their very best. You know, their movement and passing was excellent, and when they're on song like they are, then you're sometimes relieved to get off the field with just 4-1. Very impressive.
And Nigel Clough had an outstanding match, it seemed.
Well, he is. I mean, we sometimes criticise, perhaps, you know, the pace, but you know, his speed of thought is brilliant. Teddy Sheringham drawing the defence. He knows instinctively Roy Keane is running into that space, and the weight of the pass was perfect. Bit unlucky here, the fullback Andy Llewellyn, it just bounces off the post and bobbles in. But, you know, the movement of the build-up was excellent. Here again, he doesn't score that many spectacular goals, but I mean, half volley, you couldn't have hit that better, and poor old Andy leaning gets it in his mouth for his trouble, but I mean, he'd probably be relieved to see it out the goal. This was, for me, the best goal of the afternoon. Stuart Pearce laying it square. Nigel Clough flights a magnificent pass, because if he has to wait for it a bit or has to go out wide, then the opportunity is lost right in his stride, and Stuart Pearce tucks it in. Quite happy with his left
Pearce take it down well, though.
Yeah, he's so strong. I mean, you think the defender's going to get a tackle in, but he just brushes him aside and hits it in with his right foot as he quite pleased. He's got a few goals, hasn't he, for a fullback though? Yeah,
and we've got a bit more of Stuart Pearce to look at as well.
Yes, well, I mean, Cloughie got in on the scoring act, but what interested me was the build-up to this goal. You see Stuart Pearce is out of picture waiting to take the kick, and Mark Hazelwood has come off the post. He's a bit worried about Teddy Sheringham, and City have decided to put somebody on the post because they know how Pearce can hit his free kicks. And then Teddy Sheringham, very intelligently, knows he's not offside, stands in front of the keeper, gets a touch, and then poor old Hazelwood can't get it tucked out from under his feet, and it gets like, sort of slid in. But I thought Teddy Sheringham reacted very well. You know, you think, well, I'll cater for Pearce's shooting, stick somebody on the line, and suddenly it goes the other way for you.
Nobody will want to draw Forest tomorrow, I would imagine.
No, I think they could keep away from them, certainly at their place as well.
Right, there were 2 other ties today, and the details come now from Ray Stubbs.
Surviving First Division club not to have won the FA Cup, there was quite an atmosphere at Carrow Road. Not that Notts County enjoyed the occasion. Teenager Chris Sutton put Norwich ahead after 19 minutes. Rob Newman's shot was only parried by Steve Cherry. 2 second-half goals settled it. Welsh international David Phillips, a cup winner with Coventry in 1987, got behind the Notts County defence to score a second. The ball played through by Norwich skipper Ian Culverhouse. A third Norwich goal came after 56 minutes, and Phillips again set it up. The ball worked down the right, and if the cross on the run was impressive, what about Chris Sutton's diving header? Norwich in the quarter-final for the 3rd time in 4 years. An all second division tie, and Portsmouth must have been looking forward to ringing a few victory bells at Fratton Park. They'd taken the lead on the hour. Darren Anderton, the star of Pompey's 3rd round win, had crossed. Chris Burns' shot looked like it would have gone in. Guy Whittingham left nothing to chance. But Middlesbrough, in the hunt for promotion and in the semi-final of the League Cup, kept their treble hopes alive when Alan Kernigan equalised 3 minutes from time. Portsmouth failed to clear. The Borough skipper set up an Urson Park replay.
Now the 3 ties tomorrow, and we'll be at the County Ground to bring you Swindon versus Aston Villa live. Looks like producing some real quality football, and after it, of course, we'll have the draw live for the quarter-finals. What do you make of that match tomorrow, Trev?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I mean, they're 2 good footballing teams, 2 fullbacks